yeah, so this is Keat's Halo Reach Montage 7 that I edited. Um, I will say I didn't do any prep for this. I literally just opened up the project and opened up the file. I actually finished this. When did I finish this? August 6th. So it is September 9th. So over a month ago, I actually finished this. This is literally the render. Actually, this one, technically, it's the same thing though. Um, this is the finished project. So it's a little old, so I'm not entirely familiar with every little thing I did, but I'm gonna try my best here. So just bear with me, guys. But yeah, I think let's just get into it. So at the beginning here, I'm not gonna talk about every little thing, but this right here was using a stars effect in After Effects, and I used a glow that I took a fast blur to, and I just stretched out the fast blur as much as I could, and then I zoomed in the glow, and you can actually see I just scaled down the original footage and blurred it so much that you can't even tell. And that kind of brings it in with the song. So then we have some text. This text I made in Photoshop. You can probably make this text pretty easily in After Effects, but I find it easier in Photoshop. So I just pretty much make the text, render it out as a picture, and then put it here. So this text is pretty much using some bevel and emboss, a little bit of texture, gradients, some glows, and some coloring. They're not super complicated. And then I 3D tracked it to this angle, blurred it out once the camera gets close. Did the same thing here, track that, says presents. Oh, the man himself. Yo, what's up, Keat? I just started actually, man. And by the way, this angle I used Twixtor to speed up. I didn't use anything else, so I used some velocity in Twixtor to do this. Then this is just a simple cross dissolve. It's literally all it is. And then it's pretty much the exact same thing here, with some glow and color correction added in the background. But it's pretty much the exact same premise. And then we have this where it says Absolute Keat Halo Reach Montage 7. Now I will say I did make this a little hard to read. That's my fault. I consider that a mistake. But at the same time I was a little too lazy to go back and fix it personally. But this effect right here, wait for it, I'm going frame by frame. Right here, this kind of outline is called fine edges. It's a pretty nifty effect because you can kind of just like really outline a lot of the highlights and make it almost look sharpened. And you can also, if you want, tint it so that the outlines are representative of a certain color. I just did kind of the basic standard version, which actually I think worked pretty well. I'm editing a Rocket League Dead by Daylight highlight videos, so now I'm looking for tips on my crossfades. And then I also blurred the background of this angle a little bit to give it a little more depth. Had a little wipe transition. Again, 3D tracked it. Nothing too complicated here. And then a blurred fade out. And then right here, this I actually uploaded to Twitter earlier today. This is actually not as complicated as you might think. It's literally just a masked out sniper of him reloading, and I made it purely white. And I just went a few frames, did one frame mask, went a few more frames, one frame mask, did it again, did it again, did it again, one more time, keep going. And then I actually, right here you can see I did 2 frames because I think the song called for it. And then oh, right here, sorry. And then here, just to add a little bit more depth, I actually just moved this mask a little bit and added a little gray, so there's a bit of, so it looks like there's more motion. Now this effect right here, this random effect is actually an interesting effect. It's called, I think it's called flow motion in After Effects, and what it is it can pretty much distort any footage big time. So I just took one of your clips, Keat, and I just added it, and I added some fast blur, I added some glows and some tint and some coloring, and pretty much just made this. So I think I duplicated some keyframes so it looks like it's, like you can kind of tell, it's like, okay, right, let me go back to the beginning. Right here, it's kind of zooming in. And then it starts over. So right here, starts over, zooming in. It's kind of hard to explain what exactly I'm doing, but it was pretty much to show that it looks like you're flying through this weird space vortex thing. And then it ends with this thing, which is kind of just a random effect that I then blurred out. Then we've got the Halo's back logo, which I just added some, I think that I used fine edges on this to kind of have it more look like a spacey effect. Made it so the stars don't cover up the whole screen, blah, blah, blah. And then had it kind of turn into this weird, and there's an effect, I think it's like ball action or whatever in After Effects, which it can kind of separate this so it looks kind of, I don't know how to explain it. Then this is just a bunch of angles, and this was using some glow, the fine edges again, but more, I added some more effects, I added some tint so it only gets kind of a purpley reddish glow. So you can see like right here, it kind of, I think I used certain blending modes too so that it would add more effect, but you can kind of look and see all the different colors and stuff that, I don't know, there's a lot of like random colors and stuff. Is this what Kree was helping with? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Keat, I don't know, I don't remember off the top of my head what he's helped me with or not. He said he was staging angles. Oh, I haven't staged an angle with him before, I don't think. No, this was all me. All the angles staged in this video were pretty much me, from what I can remember. But yeah, anyway, so you can see just a bunch of colors here. But with this, though, I will say YouTube probably didn't get as good of a quality because with this and I added some noise, it probably didn't bode well for the compression system on YouTube. Maybe it was Devin. It was probably Devin because I know Devin needed some help staging angles. Right here, it's kind of hard to tell, but I also added some blur in the background to give this guy a little more light. But it was pretty much that, and then I tried my best. So these angles were all pretty much the same, where I just did a pretty steady cam going around them like over and over again, and I tried to match it into the next frame. So like it's really blurry because that's what I wanted, but you can kind of see, you know, we're looking at it from the side, then we're at kind of the right side of his back, then all the way back, then keep going, and right here we'd be at the side, his other side, and by the time we're at his other side, it's the next clip, or it's the next angle. So I tried to match that as best I could. Kind of works here too, I think. Okay, not as well, but yeah. Then this part I'm fairly proud of. So this is my own angle, and I tried to do the FOV switch to, or POV switch to. So this is still my angle, my angle, my angle, or no, sorry, my angle, and then right here it switches to Keat's clip. So it's not perfect. You know, you can see like there's no one there in this or in this frame, but there is in this. So I tried to match it as best I could, both in color correction, and I think I got close enough so when you play it back, it's too fast, you can't even tell. But then here I just added some white flashes with some noise to add to the effect. Have some cropping. Right here you can see a little bit of like shakiness, and I kind of brought some contrast to add to it. And then when he looks down, same kind of thing. But it's right here where I kind of use the fine edges effect again, but using certain blending modes so it only would show certain parts, just to kind of add that emphasis. So you can kind of see it. It's like things are lighting up for a second and then it goes away. Then a fairly standard effect, I use some warp to kind of warp it and use some glow, and I think a flat or a brightness effect, and got that. Now this transition is a little complicated in the fact that I kind of just added a bunch of shit. Now I will say, when you go frame by frame in this, looks pretty cool. I might even have to open up the project file because I really don't remember what all I added to this, but I can tell you what I know I added. I added some noise warp. So it's the effect in After Effects called wave warp, and if you click on noise, you can get this kind of, well, noise. I added some color correction. I added some bulging effect, so it kind of warps into the next shot. This is pretty much using a bunch of almost normal effects, but using different blending modes. So I added a bunch of colors, added a bunch of noise, added a bunch of fine edges effects, pretty much any effect that you can add in After Effects easily that creates some sort of color. And then once I did that, I messed with the blending modes and the variables of that effect and changed the color so it's kind of a reddish bluish. And the reason why is because I wanted it to kind of go red and then turn blue, because technically this is the blue side of the map. But you can see right here, after this effect kind of starts to wind down, it's pretty much red, a reddish purple. You can even see in the background, and then it turns to blue. So it was just a cool effect. I wanted to kind of blend it into these cool lines in the angle, and that's what I did. Then we have another kind of, I tried to do the switch to POV, but it didn't work as well. So not really much to say about this clip, I don't think. Just some cropping and stuff. I added a few effects right here, but I'm not super happy with them. It's pretty much just a glow with a twitch effect to add some more color. And it's not perfect. I think it's not the actual effect that looks bad. I think it's just the way I faded it out. Like, this looks pretty cool. This does not. So I should have worked on that more, but I still think it looked all right. And it syncs with the song. Pretty much a red glow, maybe another effect or two. And then this is kind of an interesting transition, and I don't really know why I went with it, but pretty much I cropped zooming in on the extern, and then as it zooms out, the DMR actually masks. So like pretty much this masks out, and it goes to the next angle. I don't think it's a perfect mask. I think that's a problem. Yeah, right here it's not a perfect mask, but I think it does the job, and I think it works pretty well. Then we've got just a fairly standard angle of this guy standing, but I do a switch to POV, so it's like, again, not perfect, but I try to get as close as I can. And again, when you watch it fast motion, it does the job. Like, you can't really tell unless you slow it down. Like, obviously there's no one there, and then there's someone there, but it's pretty close. And there's no jetpack, so it's not perfect, but I think it works pretty well. Then fairly standard, I use a twitch effect there. Did a little bit of darkness right here. Some reloads. I don't even think there's an effect on that shot. Right here, again, using the fine edges tool. I just made it a little bit blue to kind of add some like robotic looks to it. And it's just a simple angle where I just kind of zoom in straight, but I Actually, I think I do use Twixtor. Velocity style. To do the fast motions. Still better than my angle for wrong armor, stick in the face, not the feet. Yeah. I will say right here, I tried my best. You can kind of see. This is still the angle. This is still the angle, but I'm slowly starting to crossfade into the next clip. Still partly the crossfade and the angle. So I did line up the rocks. So when you actually zoom out, the blur helps. The RSMB helps a lot, but when you watch it, you almost can't even tell. Like, it looks like you're just zooming out. And of course, I added too much motion blur. But when it's fast, you don't notice it as much as when you're going frame by frame. This effect was just using a turbulent displace, a horizontal glow. You can see the horizontal glows, and a brightness effect. And then right here, I'm pretty proud of this. It's another like cross dissolve, try to match. It's not perfect, as you can see, like the rocks are not in place, but right here you see it does eventually line up. And another interesting thing that no one will even notice is right here is actually two separate angles. So when I first did this angle, I was really happy with it, but I realized I did the angle without this Spartan here. So I needed to go re-record it with the Spartan, and I realized when I did the angle with the Spartan, the first part I like hit a rock or something, so it didn't look as good, but at the end it did look good. So right here is actually just a cut from one angle to another. Because literally right here, if I kept going, there would not have been a person there. But in the second angle there was, so I just did that cut. And then right here, he kind of lines up. It's not perfect, but then we're in the next clip. Pretty much some simple syncing here, some twitch effects, some cropping. Really happy with this angle coming up. So he spawns, he starts moving, and then we did a nice mask transition. You can't tell because of the blur, but it is, like, in my opinion, it was pretty seamless. Like, I could actually show you the version without the motion blur, and you can tell, like, I masked it pretty well, in my opinion. But it was just a nice wipe transition, but a mask. And then he gets the tack shot. And then used a custom transition where it kind of like spiral rotates into the next clip. And I think that worked pretty well given this. Sorry, that clip was complete ass. It wasn't ass. Right after he kills this guy, and actually I will talk about this because I'm going to go back once I'm done with this and show you guys the audio work. But I'm just focusing on the video right now. But I do kind of isolate Red a little bit for a second because he's low health, and I actually included the low health sound. But it's just for a second because then it comes back once he hits the shot. So just some cropping here, a little bit of blur effect. Right here, so one thing that's cool about this, and I'll show you in a minute, is this angle looks nothing like what it is right here. And I'll show you in a minute. But this, it's just a mask with a border, a black border, and I blurred the normal footage. And I think I've done this effect a few times in videos. But what's cool is right when this effect is done, or this angle's done, goes right towards his face and masks out through his face and gets rid of the entire angle. And then just a nice cropping and white flash for that. Then we've got just a normal transition, normal cross dissolve. There's not really much to talk about in these clips because I really didn't do much to them. Like, you can kind of tell even just watching it, there's not really much happening as far as the edit goes. It's pretty much me showing off his gameplay. Same with right here. It's just some syncing, but I can show you the audio work later, which I will do. Gets this Tross and countdown, which is kind of ridiculous and funny at the same time. I think it's a funny clip personally. So I will say right now, this right here is definitely my least favorite part of the video. So here's the thing. I like the black sky. I really like the black sky. I liked like going from space to the sky, but I could not for the life of me get this to turn black. This was this was me trying to change the color. And to be honest, I should have just created my own solid of space and included the halo ring, but I wanted to include the halo ring. It does work itself out after a while, and you can kind of see it all comes together, but it's just I don't like it, and I'm not a huge fan of this angle. I think just at the time, I didn't know another way to attack this section of this. But these I'm going to actually like pretty much speed by because I really just do some cross dissolve, some syncing, and a little bit of cropping. It's more just to showcase the clips at this part. The only thing I do add on this clip is I add a little bit of like highlight glow. You can kind of see it glows with the highlights a little bit. And then right as he hits the gyro DMR shot, that's when it kind of goes back. So right now, it kind of goes back. So here, this is pretty much just syncing of the DMR shots and everything. And then I add some white flashes. They're supposed to be pretty subtle, but enough so you can actually see them. But I didn't want to take too much away from this clip because I think this is one of the best clips in the video. Right here, though, I do add a little bit of darkness. And then, so what I do here is this is using fine edges. Again, I use fine edges a lot in this. Tinted to blue with some glow and some turbulent displace, which is kind of a weird warp effect, and scaled it down and had it kind of light up. Now, personally, I couldn't get it to shine more than that. I wanted it to, but I was having some trouble with it, so I kind of just went with it because it was, I don't know, it kind of worked, and it did shine near the end. And then right here, it kind of explodes into the shot. Adding some warp, adding a little bit of chaos twitch effect, which makes it shake a little bit. You can see some warp here, some glow. And I don't think it took away from the shot too much. So then just a simple cross dissolve there. Most of this is just cropping, some brightness effects, some angle work. Yeah, not too much to say about this. On the task here, I'm pretty sure there was a radial blur effect that you can kind of see. It's like right here. It's pretty much how it sounds. Some angles here. I'm not thrilled with these angles, but I think they do the job. Add a little bit of twitch effect. You can kind of see it's very subtle. And then this is a wave warp effect and some kind of orangey glow and brightness. And then a little additive dissolve right here. Tried to do the switch to POV again. As you can see, one of the things I always forget to do is I just go into Slayer because I'm lazy and I don't actually get rid of the radar. So you can see right here there's a radar when there shouldn't be, but it still works. I haven't seen anyone complain about it yet, so that's good. Pretty standard here. Now this effect that I'm about to cover next, I like it, but I wish I made the 360 text shine a little more because it seems a little flat in its color, but I still think it's a pretty cool effect. What's interesting too is this is Twixtor right here. Like it almost looks like a puppet, like I usually do puppets, but when you watch it full time, it's actually Twixtor. So I don't know how I got it that good, but I think the 60 FPS definitely helped. Then we've got Keat's average 360 exterm on Zealot. Just kidding, Kay, I love you. I like this effect right here. The only problem with it is I decided to use a picture, which I don't know why I did. I like the effect for sure, but for some reason I used a picture instead of him actually walking in the clip, which I don't know why I did that. I don't remember if there was a reason why I did that, but I think it works really well, but it would work better if the guy in this circle was moving. But this was pretty much, I had Keat, when he was zoomed in with his DMR, mask this circle out and had it scale up and rotate with some easy ease keyframing into the next clip. Right here, now I was kind of worried people wouldn't understand why this is the way it is, but the reason this glow you're about to see is green is because he just got hit with the plasma pistol, so that's why it's a green glow. And what's actually cool is I'll show you, this angle does not look anything like this, but we do have another switch, so it's not perfect, but when you watch it in full time, it does work. So again, sometimes just a little like turnaround into where he should be looking, I think is enough. It's all you need. It doesn't have to be perfect as long as you have it fast enough. If it's slow, then you want to be a little more accurate. So that's just what I've learned. And then I don't really add much more effect here because this clip speaks for itself. I don't need to do much. I just did a little bit of cropping, and then once this clip is done for the most part, it's just it's a blur fade out, and that is the end of the video. And then we just have some text at the end, not really much to it. So here's the thing I do want to talk about though. In Premiere, I want to show you, this is audio. This is the audio section right here. So yeah guys, that's what it sounds like without the music. The gunshot at 137 was a frame out of sync. Yeah, whatever. Literally unwatchable. Wow. No, but things to note too is with the music, I did EQ a few things. Not too much, but right here you can hear that it gets a little I literally have no idea if that's true. Yeah, I just listened to it. I was like, oh, that was the part I didn't care about, if it was synced well or not. Anyway, right here I did EQ it a little bit, or I think I added a low pass so it kind of sounds muffled, but you could hear a heartbeat for a minute, which I thought was a cool addition. So listen. Double kill. You can't really hear it with the music, but you can hear the song muffle a little bit. So listen to this. So yeah. So yeah, that was part of it. I also right here do the same thing. If you listen to the song, it does muffle a little bit. So listen. So yeah, you can kind of hear it, and without the music, there's actually a lot of effects right here. There's the reload, there's him saying kill apocalypse, and there's a little riser effect. So listen to this. So yeah, I think that was pretty cool. Another effect that I added, which I did for the first time, and it actually worked out pretty well, I was surprised, is I think it's on the double of this. Listen to the DMR, because I actually have it echo, because I wanted it to continue going with the beat, but I was out of, like, you didn't shoot more than that. So listen to this. I actually do it like 3 times, I think. Let me see if I can mute one of the snipe shots. Yeah, listen to this. So yeah, I don't know why, but I don't know why I chose to do that, but I think it worked pretty well in my opinion. I thought it was pretty cool. I think I did it at a different point too. Right here you can hear the health bar, which I don't often do in videos. So I think that was a cool addition because with sound it sounds kind of cool. And it kind of adds to it. There's a lot of whooshes in here too. So like right here there's a pretty good one for the transition. Oh yeah, I also added this like kind of electronic sound to the exterm sound, so listen. Extermination. And it works pretty well when you listen to it with the song. So yeah, I had some fun with this, for sure. Definitely had some fun with it. I think you can hear a lot of stuff right here too. Double kill. Triple kill. Like with the triple kill. It's also interesting how this sounds awful without the music. So listen to this without the music. Oh, like it almost hurts my ears, but when you add it with the music, it doesn't sound too bad. A lot of other whooshes like right here. They're pretty standard, but with the sound, with the song, it doesn't sound as kind of generic. So, but because they're pretty generic whooshes, and I didn't want to add too much effect to it, I had them pretty low at the beginning. So yeah, but I definitely had some fun. There's also this boom effect right here. Like, which when you put it with the song, just adds a little bit of effect. And this, I did it right here too, so without the music. It doesn't do a whole lot, but with music it adds to it a little bit. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have, I think. That's Keat's Halo Reach Montage 7, his final.